Kia ora tātou. Welcome back to the final session of our online summit today. I've heard that things went a lot more smoothly this afternoon with all the tech issues, and again, thank you for being patient with us while we sorted that out this morning. In terms of a bit of an update around the declaration, so far we've had over 120 individuals and organisations that have signed up to the declaration, and a reminder that you can still do this through the Google form. And so it's great to see that commitment coming through, particularly again, want to acknowledge both UC and Lincoln Uni for being the first up this morning to sign that declaration. But don't forget, you've still got heaps of time to get in there using the link that's been popped into the chat and sign up to the declaration. And so, unfortunately, we're starting to wind things up for the day, but we've got a couple of speakers left and want to now hand over to our Deputy Vice-Chancellor here at UC, Professor Ian Wright, who's going to share with us a bit of commentary on the day, but also talk about UC's commitment to sustainability. Nā reira e te rangatira, Ian, kei a koe te wā. I'd like to hand over to you now.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko au te tumutoru o rangahau o te whare wānanga o Wataha, ko Ian Wright, taku ingoa, kia ora. My name is Ian Wright and I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Research at the University of Canterbury, and I would extend again on behalf of UC and Lincoln partners in the summit, and I think it has been a great success, though obviously limited by not face-to-face, but that's the world we live in at this time. As you heard this morning from our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Cheryl Delaray, UC is absolutely committed to the principles and actions of the SDGs. And I'd just like to talk through a little bit about what that actually means. One of the more obvious things we are doing is committing to UC being carbon net neutral by 2030. And one of the big aspects of that is coming off a coal-fired boiler and changing that technology to be carbon net neutral. So that accounts for at least 50% of UC's emissions that we will put to one side by the end of 2023. We are also actively looking about how other things or operations will occur, vehicles, air travel, all of those things are now being looked at very hard. With regard to teaching, one of the things we are doing is thinking about how we would embed SDGs into our curriculum. We have had the graduate attribute profile for some time, which has included an element of international connectedness, and we will move that into a place which talks about global citizenship, which will include aspects of sustainability and the SDGs, and that will be a thread through all of our curriculum. So that is a project that is currently underway. With respect to research, I'd just like to give a few highlights of what we are doing as a university that directly talks to each of the SDGs. As you may well know, we have a Child Wellbeing Research Institute, which is absolutely working at the intersection of health, education, and equity issues within our society. We have a humanitarian engineering program, which is actually making a significant difference in the Pacific Islands around issues of freshwater access. With Lincoln and 3 CRIs, we have a new postgraduate Food Transitions 2050 graduate school, which is all around focusing what does food production, sustainable food production look like by year 2050. We also have, as you might imagine, a very significant program around gender equity. So we have a Women in Engineering residential program. We are also working around what the New Zealand electricity grid would look like in 2030. How would we go to a process of distributed generation and distributed supply? Of course, we've had Quake Core for some time now, hosted at University of Canterbury with a number of partners across other universities and CRIs, directly talking to earthquake disaster resilience, a subject quite dear to Cantabrians, as you might imagine. And there are a couple of other things that we are especially proud about. UC is a member of an international network of Scholars at Risk program. And last year, we invited Buruz Buchani, who was a UN refugee, had spent some time in the Australian immigration system, and is now, or was, a writer in residence with our Ngāi Tahu Research Centre. So a very direct way of how we are trying to address issues like that. And finally, I'd just like to talk to a new program that we have started, which is talking a research program around sustainability and climate change issues in the Pacific. And again, this is a multi-partner project working with a number of universities in the Pacific. So that is an overview of how UC's teaching research is working towards all of the UN SDG goals. And again, I'd just like to remark that UC is absolutely proud of being a co-sponsor for this summit, and I wish all the participants well from here. Thank you.
Kia ora, Professor Wright, thank you for that. Now we're going to jump over to our other partner institution, Lincoln University, and we're going to have the privilege of listening to Professor Grant Edwards. Nō reira te rangatira, kei a koe te wā.
Kia ora koutou, ko te whare wanaka o Raki, te whahi mahi, ko Grant Edwards, taku ingoa. Good afternoon. In my role as Deputy Vice-Chancellor at Lincoln University and Chair of the Lincoln University Sustainability Task Force, I'm pleased that Lincoln University has been able to host the summit along with the University of Canterbury, and with really strong support from ARA and Christchurch City Council. I've joined several of the sessions today and have really enjoyed the discussion that has been taking place and noted the great enthusiasm towards the and support towards the UN Sustainability Development Goals. Just a little bit update on where Lincoln University is at. We have recently released our sustainability plan, which shows a strong commitment to sustainability and alignment with the Sustainability Development Goals. Specifically, we have two main goals. The first goal is directed towards the Lincoln University's research, education and on-farm demonstration, making a leading contribution both nationally and globally to sustainability for the land-based sector. We have a strong focus here on climate action, life on the land, and including some leading work around reducing greenhouse gas emissions from the livestock sector, particularly here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. We consider at Lincoln we're extremely research intensive related to the sustainability aspect, and a recent Green Metrics World rankings, nearly 50% of Lincoln's research were registered as being dedicated and aligned with sustainability research. The second goal that we have at Lincoln University is directed towards the campus becoming a leading exemplar of sustainability, and with a focus on affordability and clean energy and industry innovation and infrastructure being important in relation to the campus. And similar to University of Canterbury, you have set a target of carbon neutrality by 2030. And we have a large decarbonisation plan currently in place to get off our coal boiler by 2024. And I'm really interested in and keen to progress a large amount of renewable energy generation on campus and on the land around Lincoln over the next 5 years, primarily renewable energy generation through solar. In all of this, Lincoln recognises the need for and commits to collaborative action as an ongoing process that has been seen here in the summit to date. We work closely with iwi, our Crown Research Institute partners, university partners and industry, and the land-based sector as a whole to create great synergies and a strong foundation that helps build momentum. And it's important that we're committed to the ongoing dialogue around the SDGs, and we support the SDG Summit series as it continues through to 2030. In particular, we see real value in aligning the SDGs and adopting sustainable practices in Lincoln University and with our partners. A final thanks from me to the team for putting this together, in particular movement, as it's progressed from a face-to-face to an online summit. That achievement is significant in doing that, and the contribution of the team that put that together is extremely well noted. Thank you once again. Kia ora ora rawa atu, noho orama. Thanks very much.
Kia ora, Professor Edwards. Thank you for your words there. And yes, you are right. The team did a very good job in terms of pulling everything together and shifting from being an in-person event to an online one. And I must say I do feel somewhat guilty of a bit of a build-up here. If you've been a part of the online series, I've kind of been talking about how, it was going to be great to have everyone down here in Aotearoa, Christchurch. We're going to turn on the weather for you, which we indeed have today. It was bucketing down this morning, but the sun hasn't indeed come out this afternoon. And again, it's just reflective of the turbulent times we're in and that ability to be able to adapt and move everything online. It's a feat. And we've had a few bumpy roads that we've had to navigate to get there, but we're here this afternoon and we've managed to overcome the majority of them.